social media platforms are businesses.
These people want to keep us scrolling because that's where the engagement comes from.
And their business model is anchored around attention.
Most of these things that they do is for the ads because that's where they get some of their money from.
The idea of having friends on social media is like the fundamental architecture of social media.
I miss having this original feeling of social media. Now the feeds are filled with endless for you things.
Have your attention, they can sell you anything.
There is a lot of noise right now on the social media. Hello, Biters. My name is Faustina. Welcome to today's podcast with me, David. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, Faustina. Hello, everybody.
Hi. And today we want to talk about losing our feeds on social media. David, have you lost your feeds?
I would not lie. Yes, I have. I go on now to Instagram, and out of 10 posts, 8 of them are suggested posts. I am not following these people. I do not know why Instagram is suggesting them to me, and I'm forced to watch them. So I think, yes, we're getting to the point where your followers does not count anymore. Who you follow does not count anymore. Instagram eventually does what it wants with your feed.
I do miss it a lot. I miss having this original feeling of social media. I mean, there is a lot of noise right now on the social media. And when I'm not following a content, so why should I have to see that content? I mean, it removes the emotional balance for me. I don't know if you feel that as well, because I don't know if it's this algorithm or if it's intentional by these companies that, try to push these contents to us because they think we liked one and we need to like the other. But I do miss my friends. I miss seeing my friends' pictures. I miss seeing that feeling of how social media used to be in the past, let's say 6, 7 years or 10 years ago. Right now, we have a lot of content. I understand that content creation is something that people are aiming from or something that is making people want to push a lot of educational things or how they live their life and all of that. But again, there is this feeling. I think they should give us an opportunity to have this feeling with our friends once more. Do you feel that way as I feel?
Yes. I think this is how they even started. Yeah, Facebook started because they wanted to connect students together. So you're somewhere in the hostel and maybe somewhere close to the hostel and we know each other. Well, we can connect and we can, vibe and know where we are. So if fundamentally, the idea of having friends on social media is like the fundamental architecture of social media. So it connects friends online, basically. And so who you follow matters. I think, those days when we have a Facebook account and it's new and follow 5 people, Facebook is boring. But when we start following a couple of people, we start following influencers, people we like. I remember that time you see Salah's Instagram page, you follow him, and then you see the things he does, in his personal life. Or you follow Messi and you see things he does. So those were, the reason we follow people, because we wanted to have that emotional connection with them.
Personal touch
with
these people.
Personal touch. And we follow a lot of these people, and we know for sure that the feeds we get are based off of who we follow. Those were fundamental rules. Those were, critical. And it seems as though now it's moving away from that. And it's sad, but yeah, indeed, yes, that's a toll on an emotional, well-being, because say, for instance, I want to keep in touch with my aunts, but because Facebook thinks that we are not much, how I put it, we are not core friends. So meanwhile, when you even have followers, they kind of rank it. So they are level 1 people, they are level 2 people, they are level 3 people. Yeah. So if a lot of level 1 followers or friends like your post, then they push it to a wider audience, level 2. Yeah. If a lot of level 2 people they push it to level 3. So eventually you may follow your aunt or your distant sister, but you may never see any of her posts, because according to Facebook, you guys are not core. You guys do not chat on Messenger.
I mean, now the feeds are filled with endless for you things. Like, did I tell Facebook that I need for you? Yeah. I need to have feelings with my family. I need to connect with my family. I think we're not alone in these. I don't know. Did this actually make us feel lonelier, or with these whole feeds from different people we are not following, does it make it more entertaining? How do you feel? For me, I mean, I follow people I want to gain something from personally. If I'm following you, it's because I like what you're saying, or I like your content, or I like you as a person. But if I don't like something, why should you push that to my face, even when I'm not following that person's content? Even if, for example, the content from that person is similar to the person I like, doesn't mean that I liked the person who has this content. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So I don't know. For me personally, I sometimes feel very lonely using social media, because I don't really connect the way I would love to connect at this point. Yeah. Do you have that feeling?
So yeah, I do. But you see, this social media platforms are businesses, and their business model is anchored around attention. Have your attention, they can sell you anything. So when Facebook, for instance, is building any feature, the fundamental thing is that they keep you stuck on their platform. So yeah, you mentioned, for instance, their ability to have for you and then following. Yes, well, if you do not want to get the suggested posts, you go to for you, right? But what I found out, and it's very interesting, the slippery slope, was that there was a time I turned, okay, I want to go back to for you, and those are people, to following rather, and those are the people I follow. But I found out that my feed was boring. It was boring. And it was almost, I could not last 1 hour there. Now, I do not know if Facebook is intentionally doing this, such that because you're not getting, their suggested posts, they will now make the following very boring, so that you can't even enjoy the platform, and you're forced to go back to who you're following. Again, when you follow people, they would not send all their feed to you. They have levels, so they can really still act and say, okay, I'm going to give you all the boring posts, while you keep all the interesting one for when you open up suggested posts. So yes, if you want to avoid the suggested posts, you go to following, and then it only shows you people you're following. But I can argue that your feed will be extremely boring. You cannot last 1 hour there.
Because again, talking from the business angle, these people want to keep us scrolling, because that's where the engagement comes from. That's, most of these things that they do is for the ads, because that's where, they get some of their money from. So do you think, with this more ad time in content, do you think that doesn't, disintegrate the core of why these social medias were actually created? Because I could remember listening to Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, having this conversation on his live, and he was talking about how, yes, of course, Facebook was created to connect people from the start, but now it's moving from that point to actually feeding you with content that would generate revenue, which is because, again, many lives has changed because of content creation. But again, I would plead, or would suggest that we should have that feel that we had from the start, even if, for example, it's not from the personal perspective for the business. The business wants to make profit. So, but again, the business should look at the people to understand how they feel about this. Do they throw out surveys to hear people's opinion, or I don't know if they do that right now, but again, Facebook, Meta, and TikTok, they are all racing to just capture our attentions, to feed us with things that we don't want to be fed with. And I think that's really critical, that they try to push these ads or push these contents to us, but there should be some limiting factors to how they do that for us as a people, or as users of this platform.
Yes, I completely agree with you on that. And I think even governments would have kind of compelled them to have some sort of limits. Now, I don't know, there was a time, for instance, my YouTube, because I would think I use YouTube the most. Yeah, there was a time my YouTube always tell me, oh, you spend 1 hour, you spend 2 hours, you have to take a pause. And there are times when indeed I say, yes, I'll take a pause and I close YouTube and do other things. Yeah. But funny enough, I've not seen that in recent times. Maybe I have to go back to settings and check somewhere. But that's the thing. They won't make it available, right? You have to go somewhere in settings and look for it. And they, okay, now remind me after 1 hour to check out. I'm not sure, but perhaps Instagram has it as well, right? Where you can go there and set some time. So once you spend above maybe 1 hour on Instagram in a day, it sends you a reminder. I spent above 1 hour, do you want to check out or do you want to log out? All right. But again, because those are not for their benefits, they're not going to promote that as much as you just keep on doom scrolling on Instagram and you forget, you lose track of time. So yes, it's a thing. And I think some of these guys implement that strategy of limiting how long you spend your screen time on their platform. But because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't help their business, they're not going to push it to you, or they're not going to promote it as much. That's
interesting, because then it looks as if we are the products. We are not the consumers in this sense. I think as products, we are the selling point. So you scrolling consistently on Instagram or Meta, you are giving them the opportunities to show you this ads, to show you this content, and you have the ability to also buy things or follow these ads or follow these different content creators that are sending their content to you. But let's talk about it from the psychological side, because again you talked about how addictive it could be to use this social media. Because I remember that in the last 10 years, for me, I'm not a heavy social media user. So, but basically, if you're using social media, you're coming to check, hey, what's happening this weekend with Faustina, for example? Oh, did David go somewhere? I'm sure he's going to send a picture or something, just to keep tabs of your friends. And I think we've lost that again, as we said, with all of these feeds that are coming to us from the For You side of the application. But again, how do you think it affects us psychologically? Do you think that we are maybe forced or coerced to actually feed ourselves with this content in this sense? What do you think?
So I would think social media is now another form of addiction. People get addicted to social media. They get dopamine by spending time on social media. So yes, it affects us psychologically. And again, because it's a good thing. So for many addictions, we enjoy it. Yeah, we don't even know this is harming us. Yeah. We just stay there and we lose track of time. So that's how it seems. For us, we do not understand the gravity of what's going on. But yeah, there are times when, and it even happens to me, where you involuntarily pick up your phone. Yeah, you say you're working or something, you're doing some other things, and involuntarily you just pick up your phone. You don't know when you picked it up. That's because we are our brain is beginning to get wired that we cannot last 30 minutes without touching our phones. Yeah, and that's because, again, the feeds, the things we can see on social media are really addictive. Many a times a way to circumvent that or to stop that would be to, of course, use DND or post notifications and all that. Because see, when you get notifications, we don't know that that's like a wake-up call telling you, come, right? And so many of these guys send you a lot of notifications, and all you need to see is your phone popping up and saying someone liked this thing or someone posted this. And because of that, you enter Instagram and you scroll 1 minute, 2 minutes, before you know it, you use 1 hour. Yeah. So eventually, yes, it affects us mentally, and we don't even know it yet. That's a funny thing. We think it's normal, but yes, some people now spend literally hours on phone. They're not creators. If you're creators, maybe it's understandable because you make money off it. But some other people just doom scroll carelessly, because they keep on feeding you with this, the best possible next. Like if you like something, they kind of want to keep on encouraging it. So keep giving you that kind of content. And eventually there's almost no reason for you to stop, except you really get to understand that, okay, I need to stop now. Yeah, so eventually, it's not good, but it is what it is. Business as usual for these guys.
Yeah, it's business as usual. And let's talk about it from the algorithm angle. This whole feed is now like our habit. It's showing us your habits. For example, if you are somebody who likes to listen to motivational quotes like me, I love motivational discussions. So when I listen to just one or two, or for example, I'm listening to Diary of the CEO, Stephen, I get to see people who are related to him or in the context of what he's discussing. And I see a lot of it on my feed. And I'm like, oh, God, I didn't ask for this. Yeah. But again, it's interesting because it fits our habits. It tells us this is what you like to watch. So it already keeps you conscious of the kind of things that you like to listen to. But again, let's talk about it in the terms of personalization. Are you trying to personalize it? From the business standpoint, are they personalizing this for us, or is it like manipulating us to actually watch what we are not supposed to watch?
I would say it's both. They will tell you both, right? Because they cannot tell you one and not the other. Yeah, they will tell you, yes, they're trying to personalize your feed, give you what you love. And like I said, you may even like it, except you're self-aware and self-conscious to know that, no, wait, I'm not even following these guys. Why am I seeing this? For instance, I like cars. I like car videos. There are many car videos now I watch without even following their accounts. Well, sometimes I don't notice, but other times I'm like, wait, I'm not even following these guys. I'm not seeing a lot of these things. Yeah. Or some airplane videos and all that. So yes, in a way, they are telling you they are making you enjoy their platform better, but ultimately they want it to stay put. They want it to stay there. Yeah. And that's what it is for them. So yes, I think as humans, we should be self-aware to know when to call it quits, and not just stay on their platform and stay there, Oakland and sinker.
I think that's interesting because, again, we should talk about it from the, let's say, the AI side. Should AI decide what reel we should listen to? I mean, with these algorithms, should it decide what should be the limit from these businesses? What should be the limit to how they push artificial intelligence algorithms to push this content towards us? Should there be a limit to it?
So, you asked a very good question about AI. See, the thing is, it's interesting how, by virtue of what you see online, you may be a different person from me. Yeah. For instance, if I check your Instagram, I may hate it. I may not like it at all. And that's because the information you get fed with is completely different from mine. I can't imagine a feed, for instance, where I did not see at least one post that involves football. It'd be weird. But maybe there's almost no football post on your Instagram. Yeah. And so because of that, we are two completely different persons. So imagine you allow AI detect or determine what you see. It means AI can literally shape your mindset, shape who you are.
Exactly.
By feeding you constantly certain things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a very, very dicey thing, very, very interesting and insane and crazy. You see someone's feed, I'm like, wait, is that your Instagram is? Like, the Instagram looks different from mine. And that's because it's a different account.
Yeah, exactly.
So if, by virtue of, again, if someone can capture or determine what you listen to, it shapes who you are, it shapes the mindset you have, it shapes your mentality, and we are two completely different beings based off of what we see on social media. So I would think, while AI sometimes would give you what you want, it can literally also very innately, not obvious, it can shape who you are and shape how you think by feeding you certain kind of contents. And the annoying thing is that when you mistakenly like one, it starts feeding you that consistently.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off. If I like a content, doesn't mean I want to like the next. So please do not show me.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
but
So what I do in these situations is, for instance, I like one and I see that it's giving me a lot of those. I now put not interested in this post. So there are times I just do that because no, guy, this thing is getting out of hands.
Yeah.
So it's more of, it has no control, it has no limits. You like one, they think you're just like the rest forever. And that's not how humans are. We get tired of things. We get bored of things. So even if I like one kind of content, it doesn't mean you start flooding my feed with all that, all true. Yeah, I'll get bored at some point and eventually you would have to check out. So yeah, I think maybe what people can also do is, click not interested in this post, and that gives them that feedback that, okay, well, perhaps you liked it before, but now you're no longer interested in that kind of post.
Yeah. And let's talk about it again from, let's say, these reels becoming the most used type of content. Do you think we are missing storytelling? Because again, reels are very short and they just catch your attention and all of that. It's like an attention, keeps you hooked. But I think we are missing this storytelling that comes with, for example, with Meta, where people are having videos, you just watch and you have time. Because right now, if you post videos, it automatically becomes a reel on Facebook, for example. So do you think that we are, as a people, losing our patience to real storytelling? We don't want to listen to real, maybe long content anymore. We just want that attention span content. Do you have an experience with that? Do you prefer like these reels, or you prefer the long storytelling kind of videos?
So as a creator, I would say this: if you want to build a community, right, you want to build real community, you should target long form content or platforms that encourage long form content. So YouTube, for instance, maybe if you're doing podcasts in Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Because one thing platforms like TikTok will do for you is that they'll give you that initial dopamine. You get a lot of virality, or you get virality. But it doesn't mean they like you. It doesn't mean they're going to stick by you. It doesn't mean you guys are a community. They may watch your reel. You're happy that one of your reels has gone to 1 million views because of course, the virality of all these short form videos. But it doesn't mean they'll come back tomorrow. Yeah. So yes, you're correct to think that, short form reels gives you that initial dopamine. It makes you excited, but it doesn't really build real connection with your listeners. So I would say, yeah, if you want to get that initial traction, maybe you can push these reels, and it's good because it captures people quickly. But to sustain them, to build a community, I think you have to go beyond platforms like TikTok. You have to look for more long form content and interact with them. And I think that's where YouTube and other long form contents would help.
And that's very interesting because it brings us to this topic of what are you feeding your mind? I mean, for example, when you feed your body with junk food, your body reacts to it. So it's important that this dumb scrolling that we do, personally, I don't advise, but you should feed your minds with things that would actually create your brain to a standard, not things that would actually make you dumber. Because there is research is already showing that some of these things that we watch, tries to rewind how we perceive things or how we think about things. So I think we should be very mindful at how we scroll. What is your focus pattern while you're scrolling? What type of content are you feeding your minds with is important. I think I just needed to put it out there, just to tell people that your digital diet matters a lot. What are you feeding yourself? It's very important. And it's also good to take a break. I mean, don't you think so? It's good. 1 day, 2 days, leave social media. Just take this break and allow your brain to actually refresh, and then you can come back again to your feed and watch what you want to watch. What do you think about this?
That's important. Like you said, take a break from social media is important. It may not even be a day if you're not able, but it could be for the next 12 hours or while you work, for instance. That's a good thing. For instance, while you work, put your phone on D&D, throw it somewhere in the corner. It's not going to be in sight. Right? Don't put your phone at arm's length and think you're going to not touch it. You most likely will touch it. So what I do, for instance, I just throw my phone in one corner. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to get a notification. And that keeps me away from social media, right? So I think, again, a good standpoint or a good point is just keep your phone out of sight intentionally and do things, that would involve physical things. I sometimes go outside and touch grass, like Elon Musk would say. So, it's important that we detoxify ourselves from all these social media jargons we see online and just, again, interact with real people and touch grass.
I mean, again, the focus is your new currency. Whatever thing you're focusing on is important. I mean, we are in the attention economy space, so you have to be sure of what you're feeding your minds with. What brings you money to the table. Talking about what brings you money to the table, let's talk about the originality of content. Like, David, these days there are a lot of AI content out there, and I don't know what is real anymore. The authenticity of social media is missing in this context. I don't know if you feel that way, because for me, I think everybody's performing. AI is doing this, AI is doing that, and I'm missing originality. I'm missing creativity. I mean, if you've not watched our previous podcast on is AI really creative, you need to go watch it, because again, we discussed about, is AI creative? Because again, we miss the human feeling. There is this human touch that you need in whatever thing that's happening. I think that authenticity is missing in the social media, because again, content is everywhere.
I agree. See, we talked about creativity, like you said. I think you guys need to watch it if you have not. But we said it should be new and valuable. Yeah. So, for instance, if I see a video that's AI created, I do not even value it anymore. I don't care what it is about. I don't value it. Yeah. And we are now beginning to get flooded with AI videos, and it pisses me out so much. You go on Instagram, and before, when this thing came out, it is very easy to spot an AI video. Yeah, very easy. If you see some things, for instance, the person had 5 fingers, next frame he has 6 fingers, and then it turns to 4 fingers. Those are subtle ways of knowing AI generated videos. But now those guys are getting really good, really, really good. And you only know from the comment section where someone, this AI generated. Yeah. So I think we are getting into a very, we are getting to muddy waters, slippery slope, with how AI videos are beginning to, spam the entire internet. And I think if, for instance, regulations does not come in play to maybe ensure that people do not spread AI videos or misinformation, for instance, with responsibility, that can lead to a lot of difficult things. I mean, now people, of course, there's this, I think Fela Durotoye or something posted a AI video of him promoting something. It was AI generated. His voice looked very similar. Of course, his lip sync was a bit weird, but if you're not tech savvy, you may not spot it. Yeah, but people are using that to scam people. Yeah, so there are a lot of downsides or risks that this poses, but I hope that it doesn't get worse.
I mean, that's it. We are losing the authenticity. Authenticity is deficient in social media, and I think we need to really not have this, again, over-reliance on this technology, because it would mar or make us. Yeah. So the more we use it unfiltered, then we have a big problem. But if, for example, you are using this media for important things, to augment your own creativity as a person, I think it's nice. That is, you are trying to use it to make your content better, but not entirely feeding us with a content that is completely artificial intelligence. Because again, this is data. It is retrieved from data. What type of data was this model trained on to be able to project this type of pictures or videos, I think this is a food for thought for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, while we watch all of this content, or, you know, whether it's AI written posts, whether it's AI written videos, pictures, what do we gain from them? What's the message that is passed with these things? It's really important.
Yeah, and I also think even the social media platforms should also have some sort of responsibility to ensure that they do not promote a lot of these, especially AI videos. There was, for instance, one AI video of, I think, someone maltreating a cat, and the people were hyperventilating in this comment section. They were pissed off. You know, why would you treat a cat in that way? But it was AI generated. So AI generated video is causing humans to get agitated, to get anxious, right? So in a way, this is not real, but it's really affecting people in real life.
Yeah.
So I think for many of these social media platforms, they have to own that responsibility to ensure that it's either they tag AI videos properly or they do not push it as much. Because if not, this creates fake lives, things that do not exist, but have real impact on people. Yeah. Imagine someone got angry unnecessarily because they saw an AI video of a cat being maltreated, but that never happened. But you really got angry. Your stress level went up because you saw that video. Yeah. So again, it may look as though it doesn't have real impact, but it does. And then the onus is on these platforms to ensure that they propagate it with caution and not carelessly.
Yeah, so I think we should round up with these thoughts. One of the things I would want to ask our audience is, what is feeding you? I mean, what are you listening to? Just know that you are not scrolling, but you are being scrolled as a person. So just have that at the back of your mind. Do you have any thoughts to share with them?
See, just be intentional about ensuring that you tell Meta or Twitter or Facebook, whatever it is, when you're not interested in the kind of post. Because if you're giving them a feedback that I love this, and they're going to feed you that kind of posting more. So if you think you're getting some sort of post that doesn't feed you well, like Faustina said, that you don't want, make sure you give that feedback you are not interested, or you dislike it, or you have to give them a concrete, clear feedback that they should not serve you this kind of post for them to recognize, what you do not want. Yeah, so I would say we should use that feature more often when you don't like something. When someone spreads misinformation, be intentional about maybe even reporting it, or actively doing something. Because if we do not, then we are letting the bad guys have a field day, and then they'll mess up the social media for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, David. I think today's podcast is really personal because we have the feeling of this with our own social medias as well. But again, our audience, to have all of these discussions going, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or our Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening from. Follow us and like us for more of this educational content that we put out to you. And I would like to say thank you, and we would see you again in our next video.
Yeah, but just before we go, if you have a comment, please drop a comment. I would like to know, have you ever had a situation where your social media just flooded with a lot of things, people you do not follow, and how did you feel? So let's have your conversation in the comment section.
Yeah, let's keep it going. And see you.
All right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.